My child, stop what you are doing and listen carefully to me, because this message did not reach you by accident. You may have been scrolling, distracted, or trying to push through another exhausting day, but something inside you paused here for a reason. I know the pressure you have been carrying, the thoughts you hide behind your silence, and the fear that has been slowly draining peace from your heart. That is why you cannot afford to leave this message halfway. Stay with me until the very end, because what you are about to hear is connected to the season you are standing in right now. Do not dismiss this moment too quickly. What you ignore today may be the very thing your soul has been crying out for in private. Listen closely, because I am speaking directly to the part of you that is tired of surviving without peace. I need you to slow down for a moment and really listen to me. You may think you simply came across these words during another ordinary part of your day, but there is a reason your attention stopped here. I know how much hath been sitting on your heart lately. You have been trying to keep moving forward while carrying emotions you rarely talk about honestly. From the outside, you continue handling responsibilities, answering people, and doing what needs to be done, but inside, there is a quiet exhaustion growing heavier with time. I have seen it even during the moments when nobody else noticed. You have spent so long trying to stay strong that you barely realize how tired your soul has become. There were nights when your body rested, but your thoughts kept running. You replayed conversations in your mind, worried about the future, and wondered whether things would ever truly feel lighter again. Sometimes you even questioned yourself for feeling overwhelmed because you believed you should have been stronger by now. But I never asked you to carry life alone while pretending nothing affects you. What you are feeling is not weakness. It is what happens when your heart goes too long without peace. You have learned how to survive pressure, but surviving is not the same as living with rest inside you. That is one of the reasons I wanted your attention today. I am not here to condemn you for being tired. I am drawing close because I care about what is happening within you. There are parts of your heart you have neglected while trying to take care of everything else around you. You became so focused on getting through each day that you stopped noticing how emotionally distant you were becoming from yourself. I know there are moments when you feel disconnected even while surrounded by people. I know how often you keep your deeper struggles hidden because you do not want to burden anyone or appear fragile. But you do not have to hide your weariness from me. You have asked for signs before, sometimes through spoken prayers and sometimes through silent thoughts you never fully expressed. I heard all of them. Even now, something inside you recognizes that this moment carries more meaning than you can explain. Your spirit understands what your mind is still trying to process. You are not here by accident. I know exactly where you are emotionally, and I know how badly you need space to breathe again. To let yourself slow down right now. Stop trying to hold everything together for a few moments. You do not need perfect words with me. You do not need to pretend you are unaffected by everything you have been carrying. I already know your heart completely, and I have not stepped away from you. That is why this message found you today. There is something I need you to stop denying to yourself. You have been exhausted for far longer than you admit out loud. I know how often you tell people you are fine because it feels easier than explaining what is really happening inside you. You learned how to keep functioning while your heart quietly carrying pressure that nobody else could fully see. Even now, there are moments when you laugh with people while part of you feels far away from the room you are standing in. I have watched you push yourself through days that felt emotionally heavy from the moment you opened your eyes. You were never created to live in constant survival mode. Yet somewhere along the way, you became so used to carrying stress that you stopped noticing how deeply it was affecting your spirit. Your mind rarely rests completely. Even during quiet moments, your thoughts keep moving from one concern to another. You think about finances, relationships, unfinished responsibilities, future uncertainty, and the fear that maybe things will never truly settle down for you. That kind of pressure slowly drains joy from a person without them realizing it at first. Come closer to me for a moment and stop pretending you are not tired. Stop trying to convince yourself that you can carry every burden alone without consequences. I never asked you to become emotionally numb just to survive difficult seasons. I want you to recognize what your soul has been trying to tell you for a long time. You need rest deeper than sleep. You need peace that reaches beyond temporary distraction. Some of the things you keep calling strength are actually signs that your heart has been overwhelmed for too long. I know you have tried to stay dependable for everyone around you. You do not want to disappoint people. You do not want to appear weak or unstable. So you keep giving, keep helping, keep showing up, even while parts of you feel completely drained. But listen carefully to me now. You cannot keep pouring from a place inside you that has not been restored. Eventually, exhaustion begins shaping the way you think, the way you react, and even the way you see yourself. That is why I am asking you to pause and let me reach the places within you that have become tense and guarded. Invite me into the thoughts you normally hide. Bring me the frustration, the fear, the disappointment, and the pressure you keep bearing under responsibilities. You do not need polished prayers for me to understand your heart. Speak honestly with me. Sit with me quietly if you need to. Let's stop running from your own emotional condition. You are not failing because you became tired. You are human, and your heart has limits. Let me carry some of what you keep holding so tightly. Let me remind you that your value does not disappear when your energy fades. I am still with you in this season, and I have not lost patience with you. So breathe slowly now. Release the pressure you have been gripping so hard. You do not have to hold your entire world together by yourself anymore. I need you to understand that the urgency of this moment is not about fear. I am not trying to frighten you or make you anxious about the future. I am speaking this directly because you are standing in a season that carries more importance than you realize right now. Something inside your life can no longer continue the way it has been. You have felt that restlessness growing quietly within you, even if you could not fully explain it. Part of you knows change is necessary, but another part of you feels uncertain about what comes next. You have reached a place where ignoring your inner condition will only make the heaviness deeper. For a long time, you have adapted to patterns that slowly disconnected you from peace. You kept telling yourself you would deal with certain emotions later. You postponed healing. You pushed aside exhaustion. You distracted yourself from deeper questions because facing them honestly felt uncomfortable. But listen to me carefully now. The longer you avoid what your heart truly needs, the harder it becomes to hear your own spirit clearly. That is why I am asking you to stop and pay attention. Do not rush past the season the way you rush through so many others. Sit with your thoughts honestly. Let yourself acknowledge what has not been working within you. Some things in your life need to be released before they poison your peace completely. Some habits, relationships, and thought patterns have kept you emotionally trapped longer than you realize. I am not saying this to shame you. I am saying it because I want something healthier for your future. You keep asking me for direction while holding tightly to things that exhaust your soul. Open your hands now. Invite me into the areas you try hardest to control. Let me guide you through this turning point instead of forcing yourself through it alone. You do not need every answer immediately. You do not need a perfectly mapped future before taking one honest step toward healing and clarity. But you do need courage to stop pretending everything is fine when it is not. I know change feels uncomfortable for you. I know there are parts of your life you fear losing because they became familiar, even if they no longer bring peace. But comfort is not always the same as safety. Some things feel familiar while quietly draining the life out of you. That is one reason I am speaking urgently now. I do not want you to settle into emotional survival so deeply that you forget what freedom feels like inside your own heart. Come closer to me during this season instead of isolating yourself emotionally. Talk to me honestly. Listen carefully to what your spirit has been trying to say beneath all the noise and distraction. There is still hope ahead of you, even if your mind struggles to see it clearly right now. I have not abandoned your future, but I need you to stop long enough to recognize that your life is asking for change before the pressure inside you grows heavier than it was ever meant to become. I know there were moments when you believed your prayers were disappearing into silence. You spoke to me from tired places in your heart, and when nothing seemed to change right away, you started wondering if I was still listening at all. I saw the disappointment growing slowly inside you. At first, you still expected things to shift quickly. Then weeks passed. Months passed. Some situations remained painful, and you began carrying questions you did not know how to answer anymore. You kept showing up outwardly while inwardly becoming discouraged. I watched you pray about the same burdens until your own words started feeling heavy. There were nights when you did not even know what to say to me because your thoughts were tangled with frustration and uncertainty. Sometimes you stopped praying altogether for a while, not because you stopped caring, but because you felt emotionally worn down. Come closer and hear me clearly now. I never stepped away from you during those quiet seasons. Not once. You measure movement by what you can immediately see changing around you. I often work deeper than your eyes can recognize at first. Some of the biggest shifts in your life began silently beneath the surface while you thought nothing was happening. I know silence can feel uncomfortable for you. It can make you assume you are forgotten. But silence is not absence. There were things I was protecting you from while you questioned why certain doors stayed closed. There were people I kept away from your future because they would have damaged your peace far more than you understood at the time. Sit with me honestly for a moment and think about how many times your life could have moved in directions that would have left you emptier than before. You saw delay. I saw danger. You saw disappointment. I saw protection. You wanted immediate relief from pressure, but I was trying to preserve parts of your heart that were becoming fragile beneath the weight you carried. Do not mistake my patience for abandonment. I also need you to stop believing that your imperfect prayers somehow pushed me away. You do not have to speak flawlessly for me to understand your heart. I heard you when your prayers sounded confused. I heard you when all you could manage was silence and tears. I heard you during those restless nights when your thoughts moved faster than your ability to calm them. Nothing about your pain has been hidden from me. So stop assuming your quiet season meant I stopped working in your life. Invite me back into the places where disappointment made you emotionally guarded. Bring me your honest questions instead of burying them beneath forced strength. I would rather hear your real heart than polished words spoken without trust. Let this truth settle inside you now. You were never abandoned. Even in your silence, I stayed close. Even when your faith felt small and tired, I remained near you, guiding more than you realized. My child, even in the quiet seasons, when you thought heaven was silent, I was still moving through hearts across the earth through this very message. There are weary souls waiting in darkness right now for the light I placed inside these words to reach them before despair consumes them completely. I tell you truly, cast your bread upon the waters, for after many days you will find it again, and every seed you release for my work becomes part of a harvest far greater than you can see. If this message has reminded you that I never abandoned you, then do not ignore the stirring I am placing inside your spirit now. Help carry this living water farther through your super thanks. your membership, or your PayPal offering placed in the description below. What you release in faith today will become oil for lamps still flickering in hidden battles. I will remember every act of obedience, and I will breathe provision, protection, and unexpected favor over those who sow into my kingdom with willing hearts. Do not delay this moment. Act now, give now, and become part of the answer to someone else's desperate prayer. My child, there is a reason your heart feels heavy so often. You have been carrying emotional weight that was never meant to stay entirely on your shoulders. Somewhere along the way, you convinced yourself that you had to manage everything alone. You kept taking responsibility for everyone's needs, everyone's expectations, everyone's emotions, while quietly neglecting your own inner condition. You became strong in ways that looked admirable from the outside, but inside, the pressure kept building little by little. I know how often you feel responsible for keeping things together. You try to solve problems before they grow larger. You replay situations in your mind searching for ways to prevent disappointment or conflict. Even when your body slows down, your thoughts continue racing. That kind of constant emotional strain slowly drains peace from your spirit. It leaves you exhausted in ways sleep alone cannot fix. And still, you keep pushing yourself because you fear what might happen if you finally stop. Listen carefully to me now. Put down the pressure for a moment. Stop gripping every outcome so tightly. You are carrying things that do not fully belong to you. Some burdens were never yours to solve. Some situations cannot be healed by your effort alone, no matter how much you worry about them. I need you to understand that trying to control everything is not protecting your heart the way you think it is exhausting you. You have spent so much time surviving emotionally that you forgot what it feels like to rest deeply inside yourself. Even during calm moments, part of you stays tense, waiting for the next problem to appear. I see how difficult it has become for you to fully relax because disappointment taught you to stay emotionally prepared for pain. But living in constant alertness is slowly hardening parts of your heart that were meant to remain soft and alive. Come sit with me honestly now. Stop trying to appear unshaken all the time. Tell me what scares you. Tell me what keeps weighing on your mind. Invite me into the places where anxiety keeps tightening around your thoughts like a chain. You do not need to impress me with strength. I already know where you feel fragile. I already know the moments when you quietly wonder how much longer you can carry everything this way. There is peace available for you, but you cannot receive it while refusing to release what is crushing your spirit. Open your hands little by little. Trust me enough to loosen your grip on the things you cannot fully control. You were not created to live with a mind constantly crowded by fear, pressure, and emotional exhaustion. Let me help you breathe again. Let me remind you that your value does not depend on how much weight you can carry alone. My child, I know there are seasons of your life you still do not fully understand. You look back at certain closed doors, unanswered prayers, broken plans, and opportunities that slipped away, and part of you still wonders why things had to unfold that way. You tried so hard in some places. You invested your energy, your hope, your trust, and when things did not work out, you quietly carried disappointment deep inside yourself. There were moments when you thought I was withholding good things from you. Sometimes you even questioned whether I was listening at all. But I need you to sit with me honestly now and consider something you have struggled to accept. Not every delay was punishment. Not every closed door was rejection. Some things were removed from your path because they would have wounded your peace far more deeply than you can currently see. You were asking me for relief while I was trying to protect parts of your future you had not yet reached. I know it hurt when plans collapsed in front of you. I know how difficult it was watching other people move forward while you felt stuck standing still. Comparison slowly exhausted your spirit more than you admitted. Come closer and let your heart soften toward the timing of your life again. Stop speaking over yourself as though you missed your only chance at happiness or purpose. You have not been forgotten. You have not fallen behind my ability to guide your future. Some of the things you begged me to keep would have eventually become heavy chains around your heart. You saw immediate desire. I saw long-term damage. You saw comfort. I saw compromise quietly waiting beneath it. Think about the people you once believed you could not live without. Some of them were never meant to walk beside you permanently. Their absence created pain, but their continued presence would have created confusion, emotional instability, and deeper wounds over time. You do not always recognize danger while you are emotionally attached to something. That is why you must trust me even when clarity arrives slowly. I also know delays can make you feel invisible. They can make you wonder whether your life is truly moving anywhere meaningful. But hear me carefully now. Silence does not mean abandonment, and waiting does not mean your story has stopped. There are things being shaped inside you during these slower seasons that fast success could never produce. Patience, discernment, wisdom, emotional maturity. These are not small things. They are preparing you for a future that requires more stability within your heart. So stop punishing yourself for where you are right now. Stop replaying old disappointments as proof that your life will never change. Invite me into your frustration instead of carrying it alone. Let me heal the bitterness that disappointment tried to plant inside you. You do not need to understand every delay immediately to trust that I have still been guiding you. Some prayers were answered differently because I love you too deeply to give you everything you once asked for. My child, there is something happening inside you that I need you to notice honestly. Over time, repeated disappointment has slowly changed the way you protect your heart. At first, you felt things deeply. You trusted more openly. You allowed yourself to hope without constantly preparing for something to go wrong. But after enough hurt, enough letdowns, enough prayers that seemed unanswered, you started building emotional walls without even realizing it. What began as self-protection slowly became emotional distance. You still function. You still smile in conversations. You still show up for responsibilities. But there are moments when you feel disconnected from your own joy. Some days you move through life almost automatically, handling tasks while part of your heart feels strangely quiet inside. That numbness did not appear overnight. It formed little by little each time disappointment convinced you it was safer not to expect too much anymore. Come sit with me for a moment and stop pretending this emotional distance is normal. You were not created to live guarded from your own feelings all the time. I know why you became cautious. I know there were moments when opening your heart brought pain you never expected. There were people who disappointed you, situations that exhausted you, and seasons that drained hope out of you slowly instead of all at once. That kind of pain changes people quietly. But listen carefully to me now. Do not allow disappointment to harden the tender places inside you that still need life, peace, and connection. A guarded heart may feel safer temporarily, but it also struggles to receive love, joy, and healing fully. You cannot keep shutting down emotionally while hoping peace will naturally grow within you. Healing requires honesty. It requires letting yourself acknowledge the places where pain still lingers beneath the surface. I am not asking you to become emotionally reckless or blindly trusting again. I am asking you to let me restore softness where survival mode made you cold toward yourself, toward others, and sometimes even toward me. You have carried silent discouragement for so long that part of you became afraid to hope too deeply anymore. You tell yourself you are simply being realistic, but underneath that mindset is often fear of being hurt again. Bring that fear to me now instead of hiding behind emotional distance. Speak honestly about what disappointed you. Admit the places where your trust became fragile. Invite me into the numbness instead of pretending it does not exist. I know how exhausting it is carrying invisible sadness while trying to appear emotionally stable all the time. Your heart still matters to me. The softness inside you still matters to me. Do not give up on your ability to feel peace, connection, and hope again. You are not too damaged to heal emotionally. You are not beyond restoration because disappointment changed you. Let me slowly breathe life back into the places where discouragement convinced you to stop expecting anything beautiful ahead. My child, I know there are certain names, certain memories, and certain conversations that still sit heavily inside your heart. You do not always speak about them anymore, but you still carry the emotional imprint of what those relationships did to you. Some people entered your life and made promises that felt safe at the time. You trusted them. You opened parts of yourself honestly. You believed they would remain beside you through the difficult seasons. Then something changed. Distance appeared. Loyalty weakened. Words became colder. What once felt secure slowly became painful. I saw every part of it unfold. I saw the confusion you carried while trying to understand why someone who once cared deeply could suddenly become distant or indifferent. You replayed moments in your mind searching for answers. You questioned yourself more than you should have. You wondered whether you had done something wrong or whether you somehow failed to be enough for them to stay. Come closer and hear me carefully now. Not every relationship that ends is proof that you were unworthy of love. Some people were only meant to walk with you for a certain season. A truth is difficult for your heart because you become emotionally attached to what feels familiar. You often try to hold on to connections long after they begin draining your peace. You keep hoping things will return to what they once were, even while your spirit quietly grows tired from carrying the imbalance alone. I need you to stop blaming yourself for every ending that happened in your life. There are relationships you begged me to restore while I was trying to protect you from deeper emotional damage. You saw history. I saw harm slowly forming beneath the surface. You saw comfort. I saw confusion waiting ahead. Some people could not go where your future is leading because they were attached to patterns that would have eventually crushed your peace. Let yourself accept that not every goodbye was destruction. Some were direction. Do not harden your heart because certain people disappointed you. Instead, bring your hurt honestly before me. Talk to me about the anger you buried. Speak about the rejection you still carry quietly. Stop pretending those wounds disappeared simply because time passed. Unhealed pain does not vanish by being ignored. It settles deeper until it changes how you trust, love, and connect with others. I also want you to stop chasing people who repeatedly make you question your worth. Do not keep shrinking your heart just to maintain connections that leave you emotionally starving. Step back from relationships that constantly drain your peace while giving little care in return. Invite me into your loneliness instead of returning to places that wounded you simply because you fear being alone. You are still deeply loved, even after disappointment changed you. You are not too damaged to experience healthy connection again. Let me teach your heart how to heal instead of merely survive. There is still goodness ahead of you, but you must stop tying your value to the people who failed to recognize what was precious within you. My child, some relationships ended because they could not walk where I am leading you. But this moment before you now is not loss. It is assignment. I am gathering people who will help carry my voice into wounded hearts that are silently breaking behind closed doors. Many are searching for hope tonight, and through this message I am reaching for them like a shepherd calling lost sheep back into safety. I said, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over, and my word still breathes with power over every obedient seed. If your spirit feels my presence moving through these words, then do not turn away from the invitation I am placing before you. Support this mission through super thanks, become a member, or so through the PayPal link waiting in the description below, because your generosity becomes a river carrying healing farther than you realize. I will multiply what is released from a sincere heart, and I will guard the lives of those who partner with my purpose in faith. Rise now, release your seed, and help me reach the souls who are waiting for this message before it is too late. My child, there is a fear living beneath the surface of your thoughts that you rarely speak about openly. You hide it well from other people. You continue working, talking, planning, and handling responsibilities, but inside, there are moments when uncertainty grips your heart tighter than you admit. Sometimes your fear is loud and obvious. Other times it moves silently through your mind like a shadow you cannot fully shake. I see both. You fear that things may never truly change. You fear disappointment returning just when you begin hoping again. You fear trusting people and ending up wounded once more. There are even moments when you quietly wonder whether your future will always feel this emotionally heavy. Those thoughts exhaust you more than most people realize because you carry them privately while still trying to appear steady on the outside. Come sit with me honestly now, and stop pretending fear has no effect on you. I do not say this to shame you. I say it because fear grows stronger in silence. The more you bury it, the more it shapes your thoughts without you noticing. It influences your decisions, your relationships, and even the way you see yourself. Fear convinces you to expect disappointment before good things even have time to unfold. It teaches your heart to stay guarded instead of open. Over time, it slowly steals peace from your daily life. But listen carefully to me now. You do not need to keep living as though disaster is always waiting around the corner. I know life has given you reasons to become cautious. I know certain experiences left wounds that still ache beneath the surface. Yet constantly preparing yourself for pain is not protecting your heart the way you think it is. It is keeping your spirit trapped in tension. Breathe slowly for a moment and invite me into the thoughts that scare you most. Stop trying to carry your fear alone while pretending you are managing it successfully. Speak honestly with me about what keeps you awake at night. Tell me what you are afraid of losing. Tell me what feels uncertain. Bring your anxious thoughts into the light instead of letting them grow silently in darkness. You cannot build peace while feeding fear every day through constant worry and emotional overthinking. Your mind was not created to live crowded by endless worst-case scenarios. Let me steady your thoughts again. Let me remind your heart that your future is not built entirely upon your own ability to control every outcome. You are safer with me than you realize. Even during uncertain seasons, I have not stepped away from your life. So loosen your grip on the fear you keep carrying. Stop assuming that every good thing will eventually disappear. Your story is not over yet, and your future is not as hopeless as fear keeps trying to convince you it is. My child, there are parts of your life that nobody else fully sees. People notice the version of you that keeps functioning, keeps speaking calmly, keeps showing up when needed. They see the surface. They see the responsibilities you carry and the way you continue moving forward even during difficult days. But I also see the hidden moments that happen after the conversations end and the distractions fade away. I see the quiet heaviness you carry when you are finally alone with your own thoughts. There were nights when you stared into the darkness longer than usual because your mind refused to rest. You replayed situations over and over, searching for clarity that never fully came. Some nights you worried about your future until exhaustion finally silenced your thoughts for a few hours. Other nights you felt emotionally numb and could not even explain why sadness sat so heavily inside you. I was there through every moment of it. I never looked away from your struggles simply because other people could not see it. Come closer to me now and stop hiding the deeper parts of your heart behind constant distraction. You have become skilled at keeping yourself busy because stillness forces you to confront emotions you would rather avoid. But avoiding your pain does not heal it. It only pushes it deeper into places where it quietly shapes the way you think about yourself and your life. I know how often you carry thoughts you never speak aloud because you fear sounding weak, dramatic, or emotionally complicated. Yet those hidden thoughts continue affecting your peace every single day. You do not need to impress me with strength. You do not need to edit your emotions before bringing them to me. Speak honestly with me about the loneliness that visits you unexpectedly. Tell me about the pressure that keeps tightening around your mind. Bring me the thoughts that make you feel ashamed, uncertain, or emotionally exhausted. I already know them, and I am not turning away from you because of them. I also want you to stop minimizing your pain simply because someone else appears to have bigger problems. Your heart matters to me. Your exhaustion matters to me. The tears you held back while pretending to stay composed mattered to me. You have spent too much time convincing yourself that your emotional wounds should be ignored or pushed aside. But your inner life needs care just as much as your outward responsibilities do. Sit quietly with me for a moment and let yourself feel what you have been trying so hard to suppress. Stop running from your own heart. Let me into the places where fear, disappointment, and loneliness have been growing silently. You are not invisible to me. I see every hidden battle, every restless night, every moment you almost gave up emotionally, but kept going anyway. I have remained near you through all of it, even when you felt completely alone inside your own thoughts. My child, the restlessness you have been feeling lately is not random. There is a reason your spirit feels unsettled even during moments when life appears normal on the outside. You keep trying to move forward the same way you always have, but something within you knows that certain patterns can no longer continue. You feel it during quiet moments. You feel it when distractions fade and your thoughts become honest again. Part of you has been sensing that change is necessary, even if you cannot fully explain what needs to change yet. You have tried to ignore this feeling at times. You distracted yourself with busyness, responsibilities, entertainment, conversations, and endless thinking, hoping the discomfort would eventually disappear. But the uneasiness remained because your heart has been trying to get your attention. There are areas of your life that no longer bring peace the way they once did. Some habits are draining you. Some thought patterns are exhausting you. Some environments keep feeding anxiety while slowly starving your spirit. Stop for a moment and listen carefully to yourself instead of constantly pushing through exhaustion. Your soul is not meant to live disconnected from peace. Yet you have spent so much time surviving emotionally, the tension has started feeling normal to you. That is why I am asking you now to become honest about what has been quietly damaging your inner life. Do not dismiss your restlessness as weakness or overthinking. Sometimes discomfort is the signal that something within you needs healing, honesty, or change. Invite me into the areas you keep avoiding. Look closely at the routines that leave your mind crowded and tired. Pay attention to the people, conversations, and habits that pull your heart further away from peace. You cannot continue feeding your spirit confusion while expecting clarity to naturally appear. You cannot constantly ignore your emotional condition and still expect your heart to remain healthy. I know part of you fears change because familiar pain can strangely feel safer than uncertain healing. But staying emotionally stuck will only deepen the heaviness you already carry. I am not asking you to fix your entire life overnight. I am asking you to stop resisting what your spirit has been trying to tell you for a long time. Slow down enough to hear yourself honestly again. There is a reason you feel emotionally exhausted by things that once seemed manageable. Your heart is asking for a different way of living. Your spirit is asking for space to breathe again. Come sit with me quietly and let me guide you through this season instead of numbing yourself through endless distraction. You do not need to have every answer immediately, but you do need to stop pretending that your inner unrest means nothing. Something inside you is asking for healing, and I do not want you to ignore it any longer. My child, you have been moving so quickly for so long that you barely notice what is happening inside you anymore. Your days became crowded with responsibilities, distractions, obligations, and constant mental noise. You wake up already thinking about what needs to be done next. Even during moments that should feel peaceful, your thoughts keep running ahead of you. You have trained yourself to stay busy because busyness became a way to avoid sitting too long with your deeper emotions. But listen carefully to me now. Constant movement is not the same as peace. Staying occupied does not heal exhaustion. You can fill every hour of your day and still feel emotionally empty when the noise finally fades at night. That is why certain things in your life have started slowing down recently. Some plans lost momentum. Some situations became uncertain. Some doors stopped opening as easily as before. You thought everything was falling apart, but part of what you experienced was me trying to pull you away from endless distraction long enough for your heart to breathe again. Come sit with me honestly for a moment and notice how uncomfortable silence has become for you. The moment life gets quiet, your mind starts racing. You reach for distractions quickly because stillness forces you to confront emotions you have postponed dealing with. Yet your soul cannot heal while constantly being drowned by noise. I need you to stop running from yourself. Slow down. Put aside the endless pressure to always produce, solve, fix, or achieve something. Your worth has never depended on how busy you stay. You have ignored your emotional condition for too long while trying to manage everything externally. You kept focusing on appearances, responsibilities, and survival while your inner world slowly became overcrowded with tension and unresolved pain. That pressure does not disappear simply because you continue functioning. It settles deeper until even small situations begin feeling emotionally overwhelming. Invite me into your quiet moments instead of fearing them. Turn off the noise for a little while. Sit without distraction long enough to hear what your heart has been trying to say beneath all the mental chaos. You may discover grief you never processed fully. You may uncover fears you buried under productivity. You may realize how exhausted you truly are beneath the version of yourself everyone else sees. Do not be afraid of what rises to the surface when life becomes still. Healing often begins in honesty, not distraction. I am not slowing you down to punish you. I am trying to protect you from losing yourself entirely inside a life that leaves no room for peace. Let me teach you how to breathe deeply again instead of constantly surviving emotionally. You do not need to keep outrunning your own heart. I am waiting for you in the quiet places you keep avoiding. My child, I have been slowing you down so you could hear my voice again, and now I ask you to listen carefully to what I am speaking in this sacred moment. There are countless exhausted hearts drowning in noise, anxiety, and hidden grief, and I am using this message like fire in the night to call them back into my peace. Do not underestimate what one act of obedience can unlock for another soul standing on the edge of hopelessness. As I declared, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and every offering given for my work becomes seed planted into eternal ground. If this message helped your heart breathe again, then help carry this living bread to others through your super thanks, your membership, or your PayPal gift through the link in the description below. I will pour fresh oil upon those who pour into my mission, and I will make streams flow in places that once felt dry and empty. This is not a casual interruption. It is a divine appointment with purpose attached to it. Do not keep scrolling past what I am asking of you now. Move in faith, give boldly, and help my voice reach the weary. My child, there is a danger in living disconnected from your own emotions for too long. At first, it feels manageable. You convince yourself that pushing through pain is strength. You tell yourself that staying productive means you are handling things well. You smile during conversations, complete responsibilities, and continue showing up for others. But beneath all of it, your heart keeps absorbing pressure without release. Over time, that hidden weight changes you in ways you do not immediately recognize. You have become skilled at saying "I'm okay" even when you are emotionally drained. You learned how to appear stable while carrying confusion, sadness, fear, and exhaustion privately. But listen to me carefully now. Ignoring your inner condition does not preserve your peace. It solely erodes it. The longer you silence your deeper struggles, the more disconnected you become from yourself, from others, and sometimes even from me. Come closer and stop pretending you are unaffected by everything you have been carrying. Your heart was never designed to survive endless emotional pressure without care. You cannot keep bearing disappointment, suppressing fear, and avoiding difficult feelings while expecting your spirit to remain healthy. Eventually, emotional neglect begins showing up everywhere. It affects your thoughts, your reactions, your relationships, and even your ability to experience joy fully. I know part of you fears what might happen if you finally become honest about how tired you are. You worry people may not understand. You worry you may appear weak or broken. But there is nothing weak about acknowledging your need for healing. Real strength begins when you stop hiding from the truth of your own condition. Stop minimizing your pain simply because you think others have it worse. Stop dismissing your exhaustion as though your heart does not matter too. Bring your real emotions before me now instead of constantly editing yourself. Tell me where you feel empty. Tell me what has been hurting you quietly. Speak honestly about the anger, loneliness, discouragement, or fear you keep bearing beneath daily survival. I already see it all, and I am not disappointed in you for struggling. You do not need to maintain a perfect image with me. You do not need polished words or forced positivity. I want your honesty more than your performance. Let your heart breathe again. Stop carrying emotional wounds in silence while convincing yourself they no longer affect you. Unhealed pain does not disappear simply because you avoid it. It waits quietly beneath the surface until it shapes your entire inner life. So pause now. Stop rushing past your own soul. Let yourself admit that some parts of you are hurting. Then invite me into those places instead of isolating yourself emotionally. You are not too far gone to heal. You are not failing because you became overwhelmed. I am still here, and I still care deeply about what is happening inside you. My child, you have spent too much of your life tying your value to how well you perform under pressure. Somewhere along the way, you started believing that being dependable, productive, emotionally controlled, and useful to others was what made you worthy of love and respect. So you pushed yourself harder every time life became difficult. You learned how to keep functioning even when your heart was exhausted because part of you feared that slowing down would disappoint people or expose weakness you did not want anyone to see. I know how often you compare yourself to others without even realizing it. You notice who seems more successful, more stable, more confident, more accomplished, and quietly wonder why your own journey feels heavier than theirs. Some days you look at your life and feel frustrated because you thought you would be further ahead emotionally, financially, or spiritually by now. A disappointment slowly became personal. Instead of seeing yourself as a human being walking through difficult seasons, you began treating yourself like a failure for struggling at all. Come closer to me now and stop measuring your worth through exhaustion and achievement. Your value was never built upon how much pain you could carry without breaking. It was never dependent on how productive you remained while emotionally overwhelmed. You are not more lovable on your strong days than on your weak ones. I need you to let the truth sink deeply into your heart because you have spent years silently trying to earn rest you were always worthy of receiving. You became so focused on proving yourself that you forgot how to simply exist without pressure. Even your quiet moments became filled with guilt because part of you believed you always needed to be improving, fixing, or accomplishing something. That mindset has been draining your peace for far too long. You are not a machine. You are not valuable only when you are useful to others. You matter to me even in moments when you feel tired, uncertain, unproductive, or emotionally fragile. Stop speaking harshly to yourself every time you struggle. Stop treating your exhaustion like evidence that you are failing at life. I see the effort you have been giving for years. I see the battles you fight internally while still trying to care for others around you. You have survived seasons that would have crushed many people completely. Yet instead of showing yourself compassion, you keep criticizing yourself for not healing faster or becoming stronger sooner. Sit with me quietly now and release the pressure to constantly prove your worth. Let yourself breathe without guilt for a moment. Invite me into the parts of your identity that became tangled with performance and expectation. I want to remind you who you are beneath all the pressure, fear, and striving. You are still deeply loved even when you feel weak. You are still valuable even when life feels messy. Do not lose yourself trying to become enough for a world that will always ask for more. My child, many of your hardest battles have not happened outwardly where people could easily see them. They have happened quietly inside your mind. You carry thoughts you rarely speak aloud because you fear how they sound. Sometimes your mind feels crowded from the moment you wake up. Worry, overthinking, fear, regret, pressure, and emotional exhaustion all compete for your attention at once. Even during peaceful moments, your thoughts often continue running like waves that never completely settle. I know how tiring this has become for you. You try to calm yourself down, distract yourself, stay busy, or convince yourself not to think so much, but the inner tension keeps returning. Some days you feel emotionally drained before the day even fully begins. You replay conversations repeatedly. You imagine worst-case outcomes before situations even unfold. You carry guilt from old mistakes and fear from uncertain futures at the same time. That kind of mental weight slowly steals peace from your spirit little by little. Come sit with me honestly now and stop trying to fight every battle in your mind alone. You have been carrying thoughts privately for so long that some of them started feeling normal to you, even though they constantly damage your peace. I never intended for your mind to become a prison filled with endless pressure and fear. Yet you often try to manage these struggles silently instead of bringing them openly before me. Speak honestly with me about the thoughts that scare you. Tell me about the fears you hide behind calm expressions. Bring me the mental exhaustion you keep dismissing as just stress. Do not minimize what is happening inside you. Your inner life matters deeply. The condition of your mind affects the way you experience everything else around you. When fear dominates your thoughts long enough, it begins shaping the way you see your future, your relationships, and even yourself. I also need you to stop feeding your mind constant negativity while hoping peace will somehow grow naturally. Pay attention to what you repeatedly allow into your spirit. Some voices around you increase confusion instead of wisdom. Some habits deepen anxiety instead of healing it. Some environments leave your thoughts restless long after you leave them. Protect your inner world more carefully. Not everything deserves access to your peace. Invite me into your thoughts throughout the day instead of waiting until you are completely overwhelmed. Pause when your mind becomes crowded. Breathe slowly. Bring your attention back to me before fear fully takes control of your thinking again. You do not need to untangle every anxious thought alone before approaching me. Come as you are, even when your mind feels messy and tired. I am not frustrated with you for struggling mentally. I understand the pressure you have been carrying. But I do not want you trapped inside endless cycles of fear and overthinking either. Let me help steady your thoughts again. Your mind was created for peace too, not constant war within itself. My child, I know it has been difficult for you to imagine life feeling different than it does right now. After carrying pressure, disappointment, emotional exhaustion, and uncertainty for so long, part of you quietly started believing this heaviness would simply become your normal forever. You adjusted to survival little by little. You learned how to function while tired, smile while hurting, and keep moving while feeling emotionally drained inside. But listen carefully to me now. The season ahead of you will not remain trapped in the same darkness you have been walking through. I am not telling you that every problem will disappear overnight or that life will suddenly become effortless. That is not how deep healing usually works. But I am telling you that something within you is beginning to shift already, even if you cannot fully see it yet. The way you think, the way you carry pain, the way you respond to fear, and the way you see yourself will not remain frozen in this current state forever. You are standing closer to renewal than your exhausted mind realizes. Come closer and stop speaking hopelessness over your future. Stop deciding that because life hath been heavy for a long time, it must always stay this way. Your current season is not the final chapter of your story. I know you have grown cautious about hope because disappointment taught you to protect your heart from expecting too much. But do not let old pain convince you that beautiful things can no longer happen for you. There are parts of you that have already started waking up again. You may not notice it fully yet, but your heart has begun searching for peace more honestly. You are becoming more aware of what drains you and what nourishes your spirit. You are beginning to recognize patterns that no longer belong in your life. That awareness matters. Healing often starts quietly before it becomes visible outwardly. Like light slowly entering a dark room at sunrise, change can begin gently long before the whole atmosphere feels different. I want you to participate in this next season intentionally. Do not cling to the emotional habits that kept you trapped in survival mode. Release bitterness little by little. Step away from environments that constantly steal your peace. Guard your mind more carefully. Invite me into your mornings before fear fills your thoughts for the day. Sit with me when anxiety starts tightening around your heart instead of carrying it silently until you collapse emotionally. You are not as stuck as you feel right now. Your future still contains peace, purpose, connection, and restoration. But you must stop identifying yourself entirely by the pain you survive. You are more than your exhaustion. You are more than your fear. Let yourself believe that healing is possible again. Open your heart slowly toward hope instead of immediately expecting disappointment. I am still guiding your life, and I have not abandoned your future to darkness. My child, the season ahead of you will not look like the one behind you, and part of your healing will come through obedience when I ask you to build what carries hope to others. Right now, there are people trapped in darkness who are moments away from giving up. Yet I am sending this message ahead of them like dawn breaking across a long night. I told you in my word that the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. And through your support, that light keeps reaching hearts that desperately need me. If you feel hope awakening inside you again, then do not ignore the invitation I am placing before your spirit at this very moment. Sow into this mission through super thanks. Become a member, or give through the PayPal link in the description below so my word can continue flowing like rivers into dry places. Every seed released in faith carries multiplication attached to it, and I will surround faithful givers with peace, provision, and divine favor in the days ahead. This is the hour to stop hesitating and start partnering with what heaven is doing. Act now, give now, and become part of the restoration I am bringing to broken hearts across the earth. My child, one reason you feel discouraged so often is because you expect healing to arrive dramatically all at once. You look for sudden change, immediate clarity, instant peace, or complete emotional freedom overnight. When that does not happen quickly, you assume nothing is improving inside you. But I need you to understand something important. Some of the deepest healing begins quietly, almost invisibly at first. It grows beneath the surface before it becomes obvious outwardly. You have already started changing in ways you do not fully recognize yet. There are things you tolerate less now because your spirit is becoming more aware of what harms your peace. Certain conversations leave you emotionally exhausted faster than before. Certain environments no longer feel comfortable the way they once did. You are beginning to notice your own inner condition more honestly instead of constantly numbing yourself through distraction. Those shifts matter more than you realize. Come sit with me for a moment and stop measuring your progress only by perfection. Healing is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like finally admitting you are tired instead of pretending you are fine. Sometimes it looks like stepping away from people who repeatedly wound your spirit. Sometimes it looks like learning how to rest without guilt for the first time in years. Small changes inside your heart can become the beginning of a completely different life over time. I know you still have moments where fear returns strongly. You still struggle with overthinking, discouragement, emotional exhaustion, and uncertainty about the future. But do not ignore the fact that your heart is becoming more honest than it used to be. You are starting to recognize what needs healing instead of constantly burying it beneath survival habits. That awareness is part of restoration, already beginning within you. Stop speaking to yourself as though you are permanently broken. Stop assuming that because healing feels slow, it is not happening at all. Growth rarely feels dramatic while it is unfolding. A seed buried beneath the ground does not look powerful at first, yet life is already forming quietly where nobody can see it. In the same way, your heart is being restored gradually even during moments when you feel frustrated with your progress. Invite me into the slow process instead of resisting it. Be patient with yourself while your spirit heals from things that took years to wound you. Do not rush your recovery simply because you are tired of struggling. Sit with me consistently. Speak honestly with me daily. Let peace center your thoughts little by little instead of demanding instant emotional perfection from yourself. You are not failing because healing takes time. You are learning how to live differently than before. You are learning how to stop surviving emotionally and start breathing deeply again. Stay close to me during this process. What feels small right now may eventually transform your entire inner life more than you can currently imagine. My child, there are wounds inside you that still ache more than you admit. Some came from words spoken carelessly. Some came from betrayal you never expected. Some came from people you trusted deeply and believed would protect your heart instead of damaging it. Even now, certain memories can still pull you backward emotionally when they return to your mind unexpectedly. You may have learned how to function around the pain, but that does not mean the pain fully disappeared. I know forgiveness has become difficult for you. Part of you wants peace, but another part still carries anger, disappointment, and sadness over what happened. You keep replaying situations in your thoughts because your heart never received the closure it hoped for. There are moments when you still quietly ask why people who claim to love you could leave wounds so deep behind them. Come sit with me honestly now and stop pretending those hurts no longer affect you. But listen carefully to me. Forgiveness does not mean pretending you were never wounded. It does not mean excusing harmful behavior or forcing yourself back into unhealthy relationships. Forgiveness is not denying reality. It is releasing the poison that unresolved bitterness keeps pouring into your own spirit. Every time you cling tightly to old pain, your heart stays emotionally tied to moments that continue draining your peace long after they happened. I know part of you fears that letting go somehow means what happened did not matter, but your pain mattered deeply to me. I saw every tear you hid. I saw every moment your trust broke quietly inside you. I saw the confusion, the anger, and the loneliness that followed afterward. I am not asking you to erase your story. I am asking you to stop allowing your wounds to control your future. Bring your hurt to me honestly instead of carrying it alone any longer. Tell me who wounded you. Speak about the resentment you keep burying beneath forced calmness. Invite me into the memories that still make your chest tighten with pain. Healing cannot fully grow inside a heart constantly feeding old bitterness. You deserve peace deeper than endless emotional replaying. Do not rush yourself through forgiveness as though healing is a performance. Some wounds heal slowly because they cut deeply. But begin loosening your grip little by little. Release the need to carry revenge, constant anger, or emotional punishment in your spirit. Those heavy emotions are exhausting your heart more than you realize. You are not weak for struggling to forgive. You are human, and pain changes people deeply. But I do not want your future shaped entirely by the wounds of your past. Let me teach your heart how to become soft again without becoming unsafe. Let me help you heal without forcing you to pretend nothing ever hurt you. Peace is still possible for you, but you must stop building your inner life around pain that I am asking you to release. My child, one of the heaviest burdens you carry is the belief that you must somehow become better, stronger, cleaner, or more spiritually acceptable before you can fully come close to me. Even when you pray, part of you still feels ashamed of your flaws, your thoughts, your struggles, and your mistakes. You compare yourself to who you think you should be, and the distance between that image and your current reality leaves you discouraged. I know how harshly you speak to yourself in moments nobody else hears. You have spent years trying to hide certain parts of yourself because you fear rejection. Sometimes you hide from other people. Sometimes you even hide emotionally from me. You think your weakness disappoints me more than it actually does. You assume your failures pushed me further away from your life. But come closer and hear me carefully now. I have never loved you only on your strongest days. I know every part of you already. I know the habits you struggle with. I know the thoughts that embarrass you. I know the moments when fear, frustration, temptation, or emotional exhaustion pulled you into choices you later regretted. Nothing about your imperfection surprised me, yet I still remain here beside you. My love for you was never built upon flawless behavior. If love depended entirely on perfection, you would spend your entire life exhausted trying to earn something I freely offer. Stop trying to clean every wound before bringing it to me. Stop waiting until you feel spiritually strong enough to speak honestly with me again. Come as you are right now. Bring me your confusion, your inconsistency, your doubts, your failures, and your fears. Speak truthfully instead of pretending you have everything together. I would rather meet the real version of you than the polished version you think you must become. I also need you to stop defining yourself only by your worst moments. You are more than your mistakes. You are more than the seasons where you struggled emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. Shame keeps convincing you that you are too flawed to be deeply loved, but shame lies to you constantly. Shame isolates. Shame hardens your heart. Shame tells you to hide instead of heal. Sit with me quietly now and release the pressure to become perfect before receiving love. You do not need to perform for me. You do not need to prove your worth through endless striving. Let yourself receive grace instead of constantly punishing yourself for being human. Real transformation grows through honesty and closeness, not fear and self-hatred. I am not walking away from you because you still struggle. I am inviting you closer precisely because I know where you are weak. Let my love reach the parts of you that shame has kept hidden for too long. You do not need to earn my presence. You only need to stop running from it. My child, there are parts of yourself you keep trying to hide because you see them as weakness. You look at your emotional exhaustion, your sensitivity, your fears, your moments of doubt, and the seasons where you struggle to keep going, and you quietly judge yourself for them. You compare yourself to people who appear stronger, more confident, more emotionally stable, and you wonder why life seems to affect you so deeply. Sometimes you even become frustrated with your own heart because you wish you could simply stop feeling so much. But come closer and hear me carefully now. The places you call weakness are often the very places where I have been sustaining you most deeply. Your softness did not destroy you. Your tears did not make you less valuable. The moments when you almost gave up but still kept moving forward revealed strength you rarely recognize in yourself. You keep defining strength as never struggling, never breaking down, never needing help. But real strength is often far quieter than that. Sometimes it looks like surviving another difficult day without losing your heart completely. I know how embarrassed you feel during moments when emotions overwhelm you. You apologize for being too emotional. You criticize yourself for becoming tired, discouraged, or mentally drained. Yet your heart has been carrying enormous pressure for a long time. You were never meant to move through pain untouched like stone. You were created with a heart capable of feeling deeply, loving deeply, grieving deeply, and healing deeply too. Stop trying to become emotionally numb just to avoid pain. Numbness may seem safer temporarily, but it slowly disconnects you from joy, peace, and intimacy as well. The tenderness inside you still matters to me. Even your sensitivity carries purpose. It allows compassion, connection, wisdom, and empathy to grow within you in ways hardened hearts rarely experience. Do not despise the parts of yourself that still feel deeply after everything you have survived. Bring your weakness honestly before me instead of hiding behind performance and forced strength. Tell me where you feel inadequate. Tell me where exhaustion keeps winning against your motivation. Speak about the insecurities you bury beneath calm expressions. I already know them, and I am not disappointed by your humanity. I do not expect you to carry life without struggle. You are still growing, even through fragile seasons. Some of the deepest maturity in your spirit came through moments when you felt weakest, not strongest. Pain has shaped compassion inside you. Struggle has increased your awareness of others. Your dependence on me during difficult seasons has kept your heart softer than you realize. So stop rejecting yourself every time you feel vulnerable. Stop believing weakness automatically means failure. Sit with me quietly now, and let me teach you a different understanding of strength. You do not need to become hard in order to survive. You need healing support, honesty, and peace. I am still holding you together more than you can currently see. My child, the places you called weakness became the very places where my strength kept you alive, and now I want to use your compassion to strengthen someone else who is barely holding on tonight. There are wounded souls searching for one sign that they have not been forgotten, and I am sending this message like manna into the wilderness of their exhaustion. Do not believe your offering is small in my hands, because even the little placed before me becomes abundance when surrendered in faith. I am speaking Isaiah over you now. You will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail, and I will honor those who pour into the spreading of my word. If these messages have carried healing into your life, then answer my call by giving through super thanks, joining as a member, or sowing through the PayPal link in the description below. Your generosity becomes oil for the lamp that keeps burning for people crying out to me in silence. I will bless the hands that release willingly, and I will cover them with peace when fear tries to rise against them. Do not wait for another moment. Obey the stirring in your spirit now. Give boldly, and help carry my voice to the broken. My child, one reason you have felt emotionally restless is because your soul has been craving something deeper than the temporary comfort you keep reaching for. You tried to soothe your exhaustion through distraction, entertainment, constant activity, endless thinking, and the approval of other people, but none of those things fully quieted the emptiness within you. They helped temporarily, but the deeper ache always returned once the noise faded again. I know there are moments when you feel strangely alone even while surrounded by people. Conversations happen around you, responsibilities continue, life keeps moving, yet inside you still feel disconnected from something important. That feeling has confused you at times because outwardly, your life may not look completely broken, but your spirit knows when it is starving for deeper peace, deeper meaning, and deeper connection than the world around you can provide. Come sit with me honestly for a moment and stop numbing your inner hunger with temporary escapes. You have been feeding your mind non-stop while neglecting your spirit. Endless distraction may occupy your attention for a while, but it cannot heal emotional emptiness. Constant scrolling, overworking, overthinking, chasing validation, or endlessly staying busy will never fully satisfy what your heart is truly seeking. You were created for deeper connection than surface-level survival. Yet you became so accustomed to emotional exhaustion that you started accepting shallow comfort as enough. I do not want you living that way anymore. I want you to experience peace that remains even after the distractions disappear. I want your inner life rooted in something stronger than temporary emotional relief. Pay attention to the moments when your soul feels most alive and most drained. Some environments pull you closer toward peace, honesty, and clarity. Others leave you mentally crowded and emotionally depleted. Stop ignoring those differences. Protect your spirit carefully. Not everything deserves unlimited access to your heart and attention. I also need you to stop searching for your worth entirely through human approval. People can encourage you, love you, and support you, but no person can permanently fill the deeper ache within your spirit. That emptiness was never meant to be filled solely through relationships, success, productivity, or distraction. Your heart was created for deeper closeness with me than you have allowed yourself to experience lately. Invite me back into your daily life intentionally instead of only reaching for me during emotional emergencies. Sit quietly with me in the mornings before the noise of the day crowds your mind. Speak honestly with me throughout ordinary moments. Let your spirit breathe again instead of constantly feeding your exhaustion through endless distraction. You are not emotionally empty because you are broken beyond repair. Your soul is simply hungry for something real, steady, and life-giving again. Do not ignore that hunger any longer. Stop settling for temporary comfort while your deeper heart quietly longs for peace that actually remains. My child, I know there are moments when you look at your life and quietly wonder if you missed your chance somewhere along the way. You compare your journey to the people around you and feel discouraged because things have not unfolded the way you expected. Some people seem settled while you still feel uncertain. Some appear successful while you feel emotionally exhausted just trying to keep moving forward. Over time, disappointment started convincing you that maybe you fell behind permanently. I need you to stop speaking over your future as though your story is already finished. Come sit with me honestly for a moment and release the belief that your life has lost its meaning because things did not happen according to your timeline. Delay is not always destruction. A slower season does not mean your purpose disappears. You are not forgotten simply because your journey looks different from someone else's. I know how difficult it has been watching doors close after you prayed so hard for them to open. I know the frustration of trying again while carrying fear from previous disappointments. There were moments when you became tired of hoping because every setback made your future feel smaller in your mind. But listen carefully to me now. Your future is not defined only by what did not happen. There are still opportunities, relationships, healing, peace, and purpose ahead of you that you cannot fully see yet. Stop replaying old failures as proof that nothing good can still unfold for your life. Stop calling yourself too late, too broken, or too behind. Those thoughts are draining your hope little by little. You have spent enough time looking backward with regret. Lift your eyes again. Breathe deeply. Let yourself imagine the possibility that your story still contains beauty you have not yet experienced. You do not need to have everything figured out immediately. You do not need to force clarity through panic and overthinking. What you need right now is trust strong enough to keep walking forward even while some questions remain unanswered. Invite me into your uncertainty instead of carrying it alone. Let me guide your next steps one at a time instead of demanding your entire future become visible overnight. I also want you to stop measuring progress only through outward success. Some of the most important growth happening within you right now cannot be seen publicly. Your heart is becoming more aware, more honest, more emotionally mature, and more spiritually awake through these difficult seasons. That growth matters deeply, even when nobody else recognizes it. Do not lose hope because life unfolded differently than you imagined. Your future is still alive. Your purpose is still alive. There are chapters ahead of you that will make sense of things you currently do not understand. Stay close to me during this season instead of surrendering to hopelessness. You are not abandoned at the edge of your story. There is still more ahead for you than fear keeps trying to convince you. My child, there are moments in your past that still confuse you because you only saw the pain of what happened, not the danger of what could have happened if things unfolded differently. You remember the closed doors, the sudden endings, the plans that collapsed unexpectedly, and the people who disappeared from your life without explanation. At the time, many of those moments felt cruel to your heart. You questioned why I allowed disappointment to touch your life so often. You wondered why things kept falling apart when all you wanted was peace and stability. But come closer and listen carefully to me now. There are things I protected you from that you still cannot fully see. Some situations looked beautiful from the outside while quietly carrying destruction beneath the surface. Some relationships would have damaged your spirit more deeply if they had lasted longer. Some opportunities would have exhausted your heart in ways success could never justify. You saw immediate loss. I saw future harm waiting beyond what your eyes could recognize at the time. I know you still replay certain moments wondering what would have happened if life had turned out differently. You imagine alternate futures where things worked out exactly the way you hoped. But you do not see everything I saw. You did not see the emotional pain certain people would eventually bring into your life. You did not see the compromise, confusion, loneliness, and hidden pressure attached to some of the things you begged me to allow. Stop assuming every unanswered prayer was evidence that I ignored you. Sometimes my protection felt painful because you were emotionally attached to things that were slowly draining your peace. You kept asking for immediate comfort while I was trying to preserve your future. I know that is difficult for your heart to accept because pain naturally makes you focus on what was lost. But not every loss was punishment. Some losses were rescue wearing unfamiliar clothing. Sit quietly with me for a moment and think about how many times your life could have moved toward deeper destruction without you realizing it. There were moments when I interrupted paths that would have eventually crushed your spirit. There were conversations that ended before greater damage formed. There were doors that stayed closed because they carried hidden chaos behind them. Even during seasons when you felt abandoned, I was still protecting you more than you understood. Trust me enough to release the bitterness connected to certain disappointments now. Stop carrying resentment toward the timing of your life. Invite me into the confusion you still feel about your past instead of silently wrestling with it alone. One day you will understand more clearly why certain things never worked out the way you wanted them to. You are still here. Your heart still carries softness despite everything you survived. That alone is evidence that my hand remained on your life even during seasons when you struggled to recognize it. My child, I need you to become more honest about what you allow to shape your inner world every day. You keep asking for peace while surrounding your mind with things that constantly increase fear, anxiety, pressure, and emotional exhaustion. Your thoughts have become crowded for so long that tension now feels normal to you. You wake up already carrying worry about tomorrow before today has even fully begun. You replay negative possibilities repeatedly, searching for certainty in situations you cannot fully control. Over time, fear slowly became a voice you listened to more often than you realized. Come sit with me quietly for a moment and pay attention to what your mind consumes daily. Some of the things you keep exposing yourself to are draining your spirit far more than you admit. Endless comparison, constant bad news, toxic conversations, pressure-filled environments, and habits rooted in distraction are exhausting your heart little by little. You cannot keep feeding your soul confusion while expecting clarity and peace to naturally grow within you. The condition of your inner life matters deeply. I know fear often feels protective to you. Part of you believes that if you worry enough, overthink enough, or prepare emotionally for every possible outcome, you can somehow avoid future pain. But constant fear is not wisdom. It is weight. It keeps your body tense, your mind restless, and your spirit unable to fully rest. You were never created to live trapped inside endless cycles of anxious thinking. Stop allowing fear to narrate your future before life even unfolds. Stop assuming every uncertainty will automatically end in disappointment. Those thoughts are slowly shaping the atmosphere inside your heart. Fear magnifies problems until hope feels distant and peace feels unreachable. That is why I am asking you now to guard your inner world more intentionally. Invite me into your thoughts before anxiety completely overtakes them. Pause when your mind starts racing toward worst-case scenarios. Breathe slowly. Bring your attention back to me instead of spiraling deeper into panic and emotional exhaustion. You do not have to solve every future problem tonight. You do not need every answer immediately to experience peace in this moment. I also want you to become more selective about the voices you continually listen to. Some voices increase wisdom and calmness within you. Others quietly deepen fear, bitterness, insecurity, and confusion. Protect your peace carefully. Not every opinion deserves authority over your emotions. Not every environment deserves unlimited access to your heart. Peace grows where trust, honesty, rest, and healthy boundaries are consistently nurtured. Fear grows where your mind is constantly overwhelmed without stillness or grounding. So come closer to me again. Sit with me before the noise of the world floods your spirit every day. Let me steady your thoughts instead of allowing fear to control your inner atmosphere. Your mind deserves peace too. Stop feeding it constant chaos and wondering why your heart feels exhausted all the time. My child, as you guard your inner world from fear and chaos, understand this also. Every seed you sow into spreading my voice becomes light for another weary soul searching for peace tonight. I am using this message to reach hearts drowning in anxiety, exhaustion, and silent despair, and your giving becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning before the nations. Did I not say, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over"? I am speaking that promise over those who choose to support this mission now. The enemy wants truth silenced beneath noise and distraction, but every super thanks, every membership, and every PayPal gift placed through the link in the video description becomes part of a harvest far greater than you can presently see. Some of you have been praying for peace while I am inviting you to become part of delivering peace to others through this word. Do not ignore the stirring you feel inside your spirit right now, because this is not coincidence. This is a divine moment of obedience and impact. So boldly, support this mission now, and watch how I multiply peace, provision, favor, and protection back into your life. My child, one reason your heart feels so heavy lately is because you keep trying to carry responsibilities that were never meant to rest entirely on your shoulders. You spend enormous amounts of emotional energy trying to control outcomes, predict problems, fix situations, manage other people's reactions, and hold your entire life together through constant mental effort. Even when your body becomes tired, your mind keeps working endlessly behind the scenes. You try to prepare for every possible disappointment before it happens because part of you believes staying in control will somehow keep you safe. But come closer and listen carefully to me now. You are exhausting yourself trying to carry burdens that exceed what your heart was designed to manage alone. Some things in life cannot be controlled through overthinking, fear, or endless emotional pressure. You cannot force people to become who they refuse to become. You cannot guarantee every outcome through anxiety. You cannot carry the entire future on your shoulders every single day without eventually collapsing emotionally beneath the weight of it. I know why you struggle to let go. Life has disappointed you before. Situations became unstable unexpectedly. People changed suddenly. Trust was broken in places where you once felt safe. Those experiences taught you to stay mentally prepared at all times. But constant control is not bringing you peace anymore. It is slowly draining your spirit and hardening your heart with tension. Stop gripping everything so tightly for a moment. Breathe deeply. Sit with me honestly and admit how tired you have become from trying to manage life entirely through your own strength. You keep carrying invisible pressure because you fear what might happen if you finally loosen your grip. Yet the tighter you hold everything emotionally, the less peace you actually experience inside yourself. Invite me into the areas where control has quietly replaced trust. Bring me the fears hidden beneath your need to constantly manage every detail. Speak honestly about the situations that make you feel powerless. I already know where your heart feels afraid, uncertain, and emotionally overwhelmed. You do not need to pretend calmness with me. There are things only I can carry fully. Some outcomes will remain uncertain no matter how much you worry about them. Some answers will arrive slowly instead of immediately. Learning to trust me within uncertainty is part of healing the constant tension living inside your spirit. You do not need to force clarity before resting. You do not need complete control before breathing peacefully again. Release the pressure little by little now. Stop making yourself responsible for everything surrounding you. Your mind was not created to remain trapped in non-stop emotional vigilance. Let me carry what has become too heavy for your heart. Let me teach you how to live with peace even when life still contains unanswered questions. My child, I know trust does not come easily to you anymore. There were seasons when you opened your heart sincerely and ended up carrying wounds you never expected. You trusted people who later became distant. You believed certain situations would finally bring stability, only to watch them collapse unexpectedly. Over time, disappointment trained your heart to stay cautious. Even when good things begin entering your life now, part of you quietly waits for something to go wrong because pain taught you to prepare for loss before joy fully arrives. I understand why you became guarded. I saw the moments when trust broke inside you. I saw the confusion that followed when people changed suddenly or when life unfolded differently than you prayed for. Some experiences left you emotionally exhausted because you invested deeply, hoped deeply, and then watched things unravel anyway. That kind of pain does not disappear quickly. It changes the way you approach relationships, decisions, opportunities, and even your connection with me. Come sit with me honestly now and stop pretending your guardedness has not affected you. You keep trying to protect yourself from future disappointment by staying emotionally prepared for pain at all times. But living constantly guarded is slowly stealing your ability to rest peacefully inside your own life. Your heart has become so focused on avoiding hurt that it struggles to fully receive comfort, peace, and love without suspicion attached to it. Trust does not mean pretending pain never happened. Trust means allowing your heart to breathe again without demanding complete certainty before moving forward. You keep waiting for guarantees that nothing will hurt you again, but life cannot offer that kind of promise. What I offer you is my presence within uncertainty. I offer guidance when clarity feels incomplete. I offer peace that remains available even during seasons where answers arrive slowly. Bring your fears honestly before me instead of hiding behind emotional control. Tell me where disappointment still affects your thinking. Speak about the situations where trust feels impossible now. Invite me into the fragile places inside you that still expect abandonment, rejection, or failure. I already know those wounds exist, and I am not frustrated by them. You do not need to force yourself into instant trust overnight. Healing trust is often gradual. But stop feeding the belief that every future experience must end the same way your painful past experiences did. Your story is still unfolding. Not every person will wound you. Not every opportunity will collapse. Not every season will leave you emotionally drained and disappointed. Let me slowly teach your heart how to feel safe again. Stay close to me when fear starts convincing you to emotionally withdraw from life entirely. Do not isolate yourself behind walls built from old pain. Your heart deserves peace deeper than constant self-protection. Trust may feel uncomfortable right now, but healing will never fully grow inside a heart permanently locked behind fear. My child, I need you to understand something clearly before your thoughts pull you toward guilt and fear again. I am not speaking to you this way to shame you for where you have been. I am not trying to remind you of every mistake, every failure, or every season where you struggled emotionally and spiritually. I already know those parts of your story completely, and I still came close to you instead of walking away. That alone should tell you something important about my heart toward you. You have spent enough time condemning yourself already. You replay old regrets in your mind more often than people realize. There are decisions you still wish you could undo. There are seasons you feel embarrassed by. Sometimes you become frustrated with yourself because you thought by now you would feel stronger, wiser, more disciplined, or more healed than you currently are. But listen carefully to me now. Shame is not the voice leading you toward restoration. Shame only keeps your heart trapped in hiding. Come closer to me honestly instead of withdrawing deeper into self-criticism. I am calling you back to peace, not punishment. I am inviting you into honesty, healing, and closeness with me again because your soul has been carrying too much isolation for too long. You became so focused on surviving emotionally that you forgot how deeply I still desire connection with you beyond your struggles. Stop believing the lie that you must become perfect before you are worthy of closeness with me. Stop assuming your failures automatically disqualify you from peace, purpose, or love. Those thoughts are exhausting your spirit and keeping you trapped in cycles of fear and emotional distance. I already know your weaknesses, and I still remain here beside you. I already know the battles happening inside your mind, and I still speak gently toward your heart. I want you to release the constant pressure to hide your flaws from me. Speak honestly instead. Bring me the habits you feel ashamed of. Bring me the fears you keep disguising behind independence and distraction. Bring me the confusion, anger, disappointment, and emotional exhaustion you keep burying beneath daily survival. I can only heal what you stop hiding from. You do not need to run from me every time you struggle. Sit with me even on the days when your faith feels weak and your emotions feel messy. Let my presence become a place where your heart can rest instead of constantly defending itself. Real healing begins when you stop performing and finally allow yourself to be fully known without fear of rejection. I am not standing over you with condemnation. I am reaching toward you with compassion. Let that truth settle deeply inside you now. You are not beyond restoration because you struggled. You are not disqualified because life wounded you. Come back toward peace. Come back toward honesty. Come back toward me without fear controlling your steps anymore. My child, there is something happening inside you that you need to pay attention to before it grows deeper. The constant pressure, disappointment, fear, exhaustion, and emotional survival you have been carrying are slowly hardening parts of your heart that were never meant to become cold. You may not notice it fully yet because the change happened gradually over time. But I see the difference between who you once were and the guarded version of yourself you are becoming. There was a time when your heart responded more openly to life. You trusted more easily. You felt joy more naturally. You allowed yourself to hope without immediately preparing for disappointment. But after enough pain, your spirit started protecting itself differently. You became more cautious, more emotionally distant, more numb to things that once mattered deeply to you. Part of you believes this hardness is strength because it helps you avoid further hurt. Yet it is also quietly disconnecting you from peace, tenderness, and genuine connection. Come sit with me honestly for a moment and stop pretending this emotional distance is harmless. Survival mode kept you functioning, but it was never meant to become your permanent identity. Your heart was not designed to live closed off from vulnerability forever. When pain remains unresolved too long, it changes the way you speak, the way you trust, the way you love, and even the way you experience my presence. I do not want your wounds turning into permanent walls around your spirit. You have become tired of disappointment, and I understand that. You have grown weary of carrying invisible battles while trying to appear stable outwardly. But do not let exhaustion transform your heart into something cold and unreachable. Toughness is not weakness. Your ability to still feel deeply after everything you survived is not a flaw. It is evidence that life still exists within you beneath all the pressure you have been carrying. Bring your hardened places before me now instead of continuing to hide behind emotional distance. Tell me where bitterness started growing. Tell me where fear convinced you to stop hoping. Speak honestly about the moments when pain changed your attitude toward yourself, toward others, and even toward life itself. I already know those places exist, and I am not asking you to fix them alone. Let me restore tenderness inside you before survival completely reshapes your spirit. Step away from the constant emotional armor for a little while. Breathe deeply again. Allow yourself to feel without immediately shutting your emotions down out of fear. Healing requires honesty, not numbness. Your heart still matters deeply to me. The softer parts of you that life tried to harden still matter deeply to me. Do not lose yourself inside endless pressure and emotional exhaustion. Stay close to me while your spirit heals so your pain does not become the thing that permanently defines who you are becoming. My child, do not let your heart grow hardened when I am calling you to become a river of healing for others who are silently breaking inside. There are wounded souls listening to these messages at midnight, carrying burdens they cannot explain to anyone else, and I am using this channel as living water to reach them before despair overtakes them completely. Every act of support through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal through the link in the video description helps carry my voice further into dark places where hope has nearly died. Remember when I said, "A bruised reed I will not break, and a smoldering wick I will not snuff out." I am still restoring fragile hearts, and I am inviting you to help keep this fire burning. Some of you have asked me to use your life for something eternal, and this is one of the moments where heaven is watching your response. Do not treat this invitation lightly, because what you release in generosity becomes seed planted into the healing of countless souls. Stand with this mission now, give with faith, and I will breathe fresh strength, restoration, and unexpected favor back over your household. My child, I know there are moments when the future feels uncertain enough to frighten you. You look ahead and struggle to imagine how everything will work out. Some days your thoughts become so crowded with fear and emotional exhaustion that hope feels distant and difficult to hold onto. You try to keep moving forward, but part of you quietly wonders whether life will always feel this heavy, this confusing, or this emotionally draining. But come closer and listen carefully to me now. Your story is not ending in hopelessness. It is not ending in permanent confusion, emotional isolation, or fear controlling every part of your inner life. I know you have walked through difficult seasons that chained you deeply. I know disappointment taught you to expect pain before peace. Yet I need you to stop building your identity entirely around the hardest chapters you survive. You are more than your fear. You are more than the mistakes you regret. You are more than the emotional exhaustion you currently feel. There is still life ahead of you that you cannot fully see yet. There are moments of peace waiting for you beyond this season of pressure. There are relationships, conversations, healing experiences, and quiet victories ahead that your current pain cannot imagine clearly right now. Stop speaking over your future as though darkness has already won. Stop convincing yourself that because life hath been difficult lately, it will remain that way forever. Fear has spent too much time narrating your future inside your mind. It constantly tries to make temporary seasons feel permanent. But I see beyond what you can currently see, and I am telling you now that your life still carries purpose, direction, and hope beyond this present heaviness. Sit with me quietly and let your heart breathe again for a moment. Release the pressure to figure out your entire future tonight. You do not need every answer immediately to trust that I am still guiding your steps. Invite me into your uncertainty instead of allowing fear to isolate you emotionally. Speak honestly with me about what worries you most, but stop assuming that every unanswered question automatically leads toward disaster. I also want you to remember how many times you already survived seasons you once thought would completely break you. There were moments when you believed you would never recover emotionally, yet somehow you kept moving forward. I was carrying you through those seasons more than you realized. I have not abandoned you now simply because the future feels unclear again. Hold on to hope even if your hands tremble while doing it. Keep coming closer to me instead of retreating deeper into fear and emotional isolation. Your story still contains beauty, healing, peace, and restoration ahead. Do not surrender your future to hopelessness just because you cannot fully see the road in front of you yet. My child, you have spent a long time searching outside yourself for answers while avoiding the deeper conversations happening within your own heart. You kept hoping that a new opportunity, a different relationship, more success, more distraction, or more control would finally quiet the heaviness inside you. Yet no matter how much you tried to move forward externally, something within you kept asking for attention. That quiet unrest you feel is not meaningless. Your soul has been trying to speak honestly to you for a long time. I know slowing down feels uncomfortable for you. The moment life becomes quiet, thoughts you normally avoid begin rising to the surface. You start noticing the exhaustion you pushed aside, the loneliness you buried under busyness, and the fears you kept hidden beneath constant activity. So you distract yourself again. You keep moving because movement feels easier than honesty. But come sit with me now and stop running from your inner life. You cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. Real change does not begin with pretending harder, performing better, or forcing yourself to appear strong. Real change begins when you finally allow truth to enter the places you have spent years protecting behind emotional walls. I want you to listen carefully to your spirit again instead of constantly drowning it beneath noise and distraction. There are parts of you asking for healing, rest, forgiveness, and peace, but you cannot hear them clearly while your life remains crowded with endless mental chaos. Pause for a moment. Breathe slowly. Put down the pressure to solve your entire future immediately. You do not need every answer tonight. What you need is honesty strong enough to admit where your heart has become tired and disconnected. Invite me into those places instead of hiding from them. Sit quietly with me in the mornings before fear fills your thoughts for the day. Speak openly with me during ordinary moments instead of only reaching for me during emotional collapse. You have been searching for signs while ignoring the condition of your own soul. But some of the clearest direction I give you comes through stillness, reflection, and honest awareness. Stop dismissing your emotional exhaustion as normal. Stop pretending your spirit can survive without care forever. Your inner world matters more than you realize. I also want you to stop expecting instant transformation every time you become aware of your struggles. Growth happens gradually through repeated honesty and closeness with me. The more you stop running from yourself, the more healing can begin unfolding naturally within you. Peace grows where honesty lives. Clarity grows where stillness is allowed space to breathe. You'll not rush away from this moment emotionally. Stay here with me. Let your heart become quiet enough to truly listen again. You are not too far gone to change. You are not trapped permanently inside the cycles that exhausted you. But healing requires your willingness to stop running long enough to finally hear what your spirit has been trying to say. My child, there were seasons when you became distant from me without fully realizing it. Life became heavy, disappointment piled up, distractions increased, and little by little your connection with me started fading into the background of your daily life. Sometimes you still thought about me, but your heart felt tired and disconnected. There were moments when praying felt difficult. Moments when silence felt easier than honesty. Moments when you wondered whether I was still near at all. But come closer and hear me carefully now. I never walked away from you during those seasons. Not once. Even when your faith felt weak, I remained beside you. Even when fear filled your mind louder than peace, I stayed near your heart. Even during the nights when you felt emotionally numb and spiritually exhausted, I was still holding you together more than you understood. I know there were times when shame made you withdraw from me. You look at your struggles, your mistakes, your inconsistency, and assumed distance was the natural response. Part of you believed you needed to fix yourself before coming back close to me again. But I never asked you to clean every wound before bringing it into my presence. I never expected perfection before offering love. You were the one hiding, not because I rejected you, but because pain and shame convinced you to stay emotionally distant. Stop believing the lie that your failures made me lose interest in your life. Stop assuming your weakness somehow erased my care for you. I have watched every step of your journey closely, even during seasons when you barely noticed me anymore. I saw the pressure you carried silently, I saw the tears nobody else knew about. I saw the moments when your heart almost gave up emotionally but kept moving anyway. Sit quietly with me now and release the fear that you are too far gone to reconnect deeply with me again. You do not need complicated words. You do not need dramatic spiritual performance. Simply come honestly. Speak to me about what exhausted you. Tell me where your heart became guarded. Invite me back into the ordinary parts of your life that slowly became crowded by distraction and survival mode. I am still here. I did not abandon you during your confusion. I did not lose patience with you during your wandering seasons. My presence never disappeared simply because your emotions changed. I have remained faithful even through the moments when your heart struggled to trust that truth fully. So stop running from closeness because of guilt, fear, or shame. Come nearer again. Let your heart rest in the truth that you are still deeply loved, still seen, and still wanted. I have not forgotten you, my child, and I am not turning away from you now. My child, as you move forward from this moment, there is something I need you to carry deeply within your heart. The next season of your life can't be navigated the same way you survived the previous one. You have spent enough time living under constant pressure, reacting from fear, overthinking every uncertainty, and trying to carry everything through emotional survival alone. But what is ahead of you will require something different now. It will require peace within your spirit, clarity within your thoughts, and trust strong enough to keep you grounded even when life feels uncertain around you. Come closer to me and stop building your future entirely around fear and self-protection. Fear may have helped you survive difficult seasons, but it cannot guide you into the life your heart truly needs. Constant anxiety will cloud your judgment. Emotional exhaustion will make every challenge appear larger than it truly is. That is why I have been calling you closer throughout this entire season. I want your heart anchored in peace before the next chapter fully unfolds. You do not need to know every detail about your future right now. You do not need complete certainty before taking your next step. But you do need closeness with me. Stay near my presence when confusion tries to pull your mind in different directions. Sit quietly with me before making decisions driven by panic or emotional overwhelm. Invite me into your ordinary days instead of only reaching for me when life becomes painful. There will still be moments where fear tries to return. There will still be days when old thought patterns attempt to pull you back into exhaustion and overthinking. But do not surrender your peace so easily anymore. Pause when your mind becomes crowded. Breathe slowly. Remember how many times I already carried you through seasons you thought would destroy you completely. I have not abandoned you now. Protect your inner life carefully moving forward. Be mindful of what you continually allow into your spirit. Step away from voices, environments, and habits that repeatedly drain your peace and deepen confusion within you. Choose stillness more often. Choose honesty more often. Choose healing instead of endless distraction. Your heart deserves gentleness after everything it has survived. And when you feel weak again, do not isolate yourself emotionally the way you used to. Come to me quickly instead of disappearing into fear, shame, or numbness. Speak honestly with me even when your thoughts feel messy and unclear. I am not asking you to become perfect before staying close to me. I am asking you to remain open, honest, and willing to keep walking with me one step at a time. You are not walking into your future alone. I will continue guiding you, protecting you, correcting you gently, and strengthening you where life once left you fragile. So stay near me now, my child. Let peace lead you more than fear. Let trust grow stronger than exhaustion. And remember this deeply within your heart. I am still with you, and I am not letting go of you. My child, as you step into this next season with peace instead of fear, I am also calling you to help carry this word to those still trapped in darkness, confusion, and emotional exhaustion. There are souls I am urgently trying to reach before hopelessness consumes them, and your support becomes part of the bridge that delivers my presence directly into their lives. Every super thanks, every membership, and every PayPal donation through the link in the video description becomes seed planted into a kingdom harvest that will outlive this present moment. Have I not told you that those who sow beside many waters will reap in due season? I am declaring multiplication, protection, open doors, and supernatural provision over those who respond with obedience today. This is not merely support for a video. This is participation in a divine assignment to spread my word while time remains. The fire of this mission must continue reaching hearts across the earth, and I am calling willing vessels to help sustain it now. Do not delay when you feel my prompting. Act now. So now. Support this mission now, and watch how I move powerfully within your life. Before you leave this moment, do not ignore what your spirit felt while listening to these words. If you know deep inside that I have been calling you back toward peace, healing, and closeness with me, then make this declaration boldly in the comments. I will not run anymore. Let those words become your turning point. Let them mark the moment you stop surviving in fear and started opening your heart again. And if this message reached you at the exact moment you needed it most, stay close, because I am not finished speaking to your life yet. Amen.